Hi everyone, Mr. Wickens here. I just wanted to share a short video on how to join a Google Meet session and the guidelines for Google Meet sessions in case you weren't able to attend our meeting last week. So here we go. First of all, some guidelines for joining any Google Meet session. The first one is that in order to join a session, you're going to have to use your FMPSD email. Without that email, you will not be able to see the invite. Secondly, a teacher has to be present at all times during Google Meet sessions. These sessions are also going to be recorded and they may be posted later onto Classrooms if there's any relevant material that you will need to see at your own convenience. We are going to also treat this space as a classroom, so we're going to continue to be respectful to all of our classmates and our teacher in the Google Meets. During a Google Meet, it is important that you keep your mic muted unless you're speaking. This is because if there are a few mics that are unmuted, it's going to create a very echoey effect, and it can also create feedback in the Google Meet. With that in mind, if you have a question during the Google Meet and it's not an appropriate time to ask, you can use the chat bar, which we'll go over in a second, and just post a little question mark there. That's my recommendation, because if you post a question mark, you're not going to waste time typing out your question and maybe miss something that's important, or maybe your question gets answered. It's also very important you choose an appropriate place in your home to attend the Google Meet for microphone and video. If you're not sure if a place is appropriate, you can ask me and I can answer, or if I don't know, I will find out. Lastly, if you would like to read the acceptable use of technology and responsible digital citizenship through admirable use of FMPSD documents, you can, but this kind of sums up the important points of what we're going to be using from them. Alright, so joining a Google Meet. There's a couple ways to join a Google Meet. I recommend going through Classrooms, but really you just need access to your calendar. So if you're going to go through Classrooms, what you can do is go to your classroom, and then here beside the settings gear, there's this tab. We select calendar, and then we can highlight the class that we're wanting to attend the Google Meet. Google Meet sessions will be scheduled between 5 and 15 minutes before the session. So there'll be a notification on Classrooms for what time, and then you guys can just pop in and join the session beforehand. Okay, so once you've joined the Google Meet, you will see a screen like this, and this is kind of your prompt to join. If you're on a laptop or a Chromebook or an iPad, if you join via phone, it'll be a little bit different, and I'll show you in a second. So click join now. If your microphone is red, that means you're muted. That's a good way to start. And then if your camera is red, that means the camera is off as well. If you're joining by phone, in the calendar mode, there's a section where you can ask to join by phone to just have audio. So there's two options. You can have Google call you at your phone number, so you can enter your phone number, or you can have a number to dial in. There's a very, very important thing to be aware of here. Google uses the United States as the default country, so you need to make sure you change your country in either case to Canada. Otherwise, you're going to potentially get some very unwanted long distance charges. Okay, also after you are in the Google Meet, if you're some quick troubleshooting, if you aren't able to get audio or video, we can go into the settings function of Google Meet, and that is just indicated by these three tabs here, and we can make sure that our audio, so our microphone and speakers, are the correct speakers, and then also that if we're using video, our camera is the right camera. Other things to be aware of to personalize your Google Meet is that you can change the layout. There's a few different layouts that are default in Google Meet. I prefer the grid view, and the grid view you can get by installing it from the web store. So what the grid view is it just breaks up the screen into everybody's video. That way I can see if people have a question or get an indication of what's doing. So to get the grid view from the web store, you just go to the web store, you can type in Google Meet grid view, or you could even type in just Google Grid, and that's going to be the first thing that pops up. Install it, restart Chrome, and you are good to go. So during your Google Meet, you'll have these options at your disposal. You'll be able to mute and unmute your camera. Red means that you're muted. White means that you are speaking. You will be able to turn on and off your camera. Red again means your camera is off. White means that is on. And then this middle button, if you press it, you will hang up. We're not going to use that till the end of the Google Meet. Another thing that might be useful at times is to turn on captions. So captions will translate whatever I'm saying into text. However, be aware that I don't think Google Translate is perfect, so there might be some entertaining captions that come up during our sessions. So some important things to be aware of during the Google Meet is the chat bar. So the chat bar is where we're going to post a question, or you're going to post your question mark to ask your question at a more convenient time. There is also an option to pin. So this pin just means that you're putting whoever you clicked it on, that's going to be your main screen, regardless of if they're speaking or not. Other options that I have as the presenter are just, I have the ability to mute you if we notice there's some feedback coming from somebody and you can't hear me for some reason, or if there's a reason to kick you out of the Google Meet, I can use that. I don't foresee that being an issue though. Okay, so after we're all done the Google Meet, we're just going to click on the red phone. That will hang us up from the Google Meet, and it will be, again, recorded by me, and it gets emailed to me, and then if needed, I will post it to Google Classrooms for you guys' use at a later date. All right, thanks, and have a great day. Stay safe.